Hi, this is Liz.
And this is Kim.
Thanks for joining us for our 16th episode of Season 2 of Keep Up with Liz and Kim.
Summer is such a vibrant time in Ada. I love that everything's up and running and there's stuff going on. You could literally do something every night here if you wanted to.
You really could. I mean, from biking, shopping, eating, social district. I mean, there is truly something for everyone.
Yeah, so get your friends together, bring your family down, just walk through Ada, enjoy all these incredible restaurants, shops, the park, and the trails. The trails are amazing to get back and forth between the different parks. Check it out, go online, plot out your route, and let's do it.
Let's do it. And if you guys want more information on all this stuff and keep up with everything that is happening, definitely follow Discover Ada and ABA on social media. Join our websites. We have newsletters that go out so you guys can stay connected in many different forms.
All right. On today's show, we are welcoming Matt Fegan, Valuation Services Partner, and Dave Echelbarger, Managing Partner of EHTC, a full-service CPA firm. They focus on supporting their clients and helping them achieve their full potential through comprehensive accounting, tax, and advisory services. In the fall of 2024, EHTC moved their headquarters to Ada and quickly got involved in the local community. We are excited to learn more about Matt, Dave, and EHTC.
All right, we're super excited to have both of you guys here today. So we're going to start out with what is the hardest question, is tell a little bit about yourself and then your role at EHTC.
Go ahead.
Excellent. So Dave Echelbarger, the managing partner and visionary of EHTC. As the visionary, I'm responsible for generating and executing on our vision, our culture, and our growth of the firm. And ultimately, with that responsibility is making sure our employees as well as our clients achieve their full potential.
And I'm Matt Fegan. I am our Valuation Services Partner. I joined the firm about 4 years ago to head up our valuation practice. And in addition to that, I kind of lead all our firm's marketing efforts as well.
Excellent. And tell us a little bit about each of you, like who you are, how you got to this point, all those good things.
Yeah. So, kind of entering into the business and accounting world for me started kind of back in high school. I was lucky enough at high school we had accounting courses, believe it or not, which I think more this day and age is starting to happen more and more. But back when I was in high school, it wasn't kind of a normal thing. And I always liked math, and with the introduction into accounting, that was kind of what started it for me, and got involved with an organization called Business Professionals of America and did some of those competitions. Believe it or not, I went to Michigan State as an advertising major because I loved, marketing and yearbook and photography in high school as well. But the creative mind of mine kind of stopped eventually. Took some advertising courses my first year at Michigan State, and just was not for me. Instantly switched to business. It was just a good fit for me, and was focused on accounting and finance, and I didn't necessarily go the traditional accounting route because I wanted to be a financial advisor, wealth management, kind of when I was in college. So that's kind of the path I took, but I ended up with a tax internship up in Traverse City at a firm up there, and kind of got exposure to the tax side of things, and that answered a lot of questions for me, and I knew I didn't want to be a tax accountant. With that same firm, I did a wealth management internship as well that following summer, and really liked that, and actually left and did something completely different when I graduated from Michigan State, still within the finance role, but kind of more of an internal finance and accounting role down in North Carolina for a year. And then the firm I was at actually brought me back to Michigan, and that's really when I got my exposure into consulting and business valuation and mergers and acquisitions, working with physicians and dentists, helping them transition their businesses. And I really liked the strategy side of that, as well as the finance and accounting side of it. So I'm not a traditional CPA. I have a finance degree. And then the rest is history. From there, I stepped into another valuation role at Plant Moran before I joined EHTC, and then met Dave and one of our other partners, Eric, a few years ago, and loved the story they were telling and the growth trajectory, and it kind of gave me an opportunity to, spread my wings and lead a practice. So.
Yeah. This is a great example of like try different things till you find the thing you love.
Yep.
Which is exactly what you did.
Yep.
Yeah. I love it.
Excellent. Well, my rolled into accounting started when I was at Aquinas College. It was the time to I always was passionate about business, and I wanted to run my own business. My father started EHTC. He ran a business. My uncle ran his own manufacturing business, and both of them had an influence on me at the time. My dad, being a CPA, encouraged me to understand and go the accounting route. I wasn't sure I wanted to go the accounting route. There was a lot of hours committed that I saw my dad working. I was not sure that was for me, but my uncle, also running a business, had gone back. He was an engineer, but went back to get his accounting master's degree. And he said, if you really want to differentiate yourself from the rest of the business majors, get your accounting background. So I did, and then rolled the clock forward. It was a third year at Aquinas College, and they said, it's time to get an internship. And so I started looking at internships, and EHTC hired me as their first intern at the time, and actually enjoyed it. And then my fourth year, I was playing tennis at Aquinas College, so I didn't go back to another internship, and then graduated and was looking at many opportunities. And what I kept coming back to were the accounting. And many people were telling me this is a great way to learn the business language, which is the accounting. And I knew that was going to be a great launch to my career from everything people were telling me. And then I, went on to work for EHTC, and one of the things I learned real quickly is I wanted to run a business. I was actually developing a business inside of a business. So that was really exciting and encouraging to me. And, I continued to develop my skills in the tax and the accounting area. Technology has always been a passion of mine. How do we become more efficient? And so I developed a practice inside of the firm in implementing accounting information systems. So it was always a way for me to continue to develop and learn to run a business. So I was pretty excited about that and passionate about that. And, as we continue to roll the clock forward, I'm young 20s, and we've got businesses asking me to help them explain the financial impact of the decisions they're making. And I'm thinking, who am I? What do I know?
Yeah,
I'm only
right.
20-some years old. You're running a successful business, and but that's what I learned real early on, is that people look to accountants to help them run their businesses, and that's always been my passion, and that's what I do now today, is really run a business, and it's pretty exciting. It's a great opportunity.
Most definitely. I never really thought about the fact that a CPA firm has the potential for entrepreneurial spirits to run a business within a business and to create those different spaces. So I find that very interesting and exciting. I don't know that a lot of our listeners would think about that too. You think about a building with a bunch of accountants, not really thinking about these other divisions and being able to build something within it. So.
Well, and I even think, too, like as a business owner, accounting is not my strong suit at all. So it totally makes sense that people would go to you and just say, like, can you help us with the accounting? I know how to sell it, buy it, and design it, but I don't know the rest, right? So that's where, you guys would come in. That's cool. Yeah.
So what are some services that you guys would offer to local businesses? If we had a business here in Ada and they're saying, oh, I really think I need an accountant, what are some of those services that you would be able to offer?
Yeah, I mean, we have our, traditional, when you think of accounting, kind of like you were just talking about, I think it's a great transition there is, we have our traditional tax practice. We have our traditional assurance. So, whether you need an audit or a review, we have that practice. In addition to that, we have our accounting services practice. Chelsea Schaefer leads that up on our team, and a little bit of kind of what Dave was talking about, not necessarily maybe the full information system, but helping them get their accounting, systems in order, right, and helping them with their bookkeeping if they need that, and her team can help you from as simple as, hey, getting you set up in QuickBooks and here you go, and showing you how to do it, and that's kind of the end, especially if people have maybe more of an accounting, or they understand it a little bit better than some. all the way to, monthly, bookkeeping and helping them keep their books straight so that the tax process is simpler or the audit or review process is simpler. And then in addition to that, I think one thing that makes us really unique as a accounting firm of our size is our advisory practice, which I'm a part of. So that includes Valuation Services. And then we've also got a transaction advisory team, from the financial due diligence side of things, quality of earnings, as well as, how to structure those transactions in a tax efficient manner, or, really the things that you never even think about if you go through the process of selling your business or buying another business to pull into your business. It's, I've been kind of in this world for 15 plus years, and there's still things that come up and you're like, you would never think about that. And it can really impact a deal sometimes. I mean, it could kill a deal in some situations. So, that's why we're always, encouraging our client base or our, folks that, we have relationships with, we're always willing to have a conversation, even if it doesn't end up turning into a business relationship. There's just so many things to think about in that world.
Yeah.
I get excited about our team in the fact that we're a small boutique type of firm. When I say small, relatively small, we still have 78 people there. But at the end of the day, it's a firm that has that local firm touch, feel, relationships. But yet, when I look at the talent of our team, Matt and the transaction advisory team, our financial services team, or it's our tax team, the depth and the strength of that team is just so impressive that I could never imagine. And as Matt was talking about how we help those clients and we're that advisor, one of the things that we really focus on is having that communication, those relationships, those conversations throughout the year with our clients to make sure we're on top of their challenges and their goals and objectives, and we can make an impact. So it's one of those things that we strive for, is to have that relationship that we can help a business. And those are our best clients. Those are the clients that really love us, that really feel like we're adding value to their company. And that's what's fun, honestly, is when you can have that level of impact. And as I said earlier, how do we help our clients achieve their potential as well as our employees achieve their full potential? So it's pretty exciting to look at the depth of that team. And I've got so many stories about how we've impacted companies and have clients for life just because of those relationships.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I believe it. What's something that's like surprising in your guys' world that most people don't know about, or just specifically EHTC?
I mean, I think in general in the accounting and finance world, I think, one of the ways we go after new talent and new recruits is I don't think there's an appreciation for how many different types of opportunities there are within, traditional accounting. I think younger folks or even folks in the community, business owners think, you're an accountant, you're a bean counter, you do tax returns, you're busy from January to April. And that's kind of the role, right? And I think, there's so many different ways that you can be involved in an accounting firm or in the business world, and really differentiate yourself, right? I mean, I think, as we alluded to, we've differentiated ourselves a little bit with just the breadth of services that we have for a firm of our size. It wouldn't be necessarily a normal thing. And I think, Dave alluded to it as well, in the talent team that we've built out. I think, without divulging client information, I think a lot of people would be surprised the clients that we do work with and the technical expertise that our team has to be able to work with those clients. And just that's a great way to encourage young people, is just come in, you got to learn the ropes, you got to learn the basics. And I mean, I even started doing tax returns, right? I mean, that's what I was doing as a tax intern. I was preparing, 1040s and S Corp returns and C Corp returns. And it's a great background to have too, even though I didn't end up doing that. And there's just so many different ways you can, kind of pave your own path in this world. I mean, Dave alluded to what he did when he was young. And I mean, my practice, evaluation practice, is another, when I was in school, I didn't even know what I do now as a profession was a profession. I mean, I think that's changed a little bit, but I never had plans of being a valuation expert. And it's just kind of the way it went, right? And so, and I think, kind of on the non-technical side of things, I think, if you're in the right place and you've got the right culture, we can have a lot of fun, and we're not just, math nerds or anything like that. So,
well, I'm going to build on that.
Yeah.
So you've built all these relationships with clients, but you've also really invested in your staff, your employees. You've built this beautiful new headquarters here in Ada, in a walkable community that if somebody wanted to go to the park on their lunch hour or go grab, lunch at one of the local restaurants, and inside you have some great entertaining spaces and just gorgeous offices. So I'm sure that your employees really appreciate that investment as well, that they have a comfortable and lovely place to work.
Oh, definitely. And that a few years back, we were outgrowing our previous office, and we started looking around at opportunities, and we found the Ada community, and we just fell in love with the Ada community, and had that vision of being able to, like you said, walk to lunch, walk to a meeting with your client, go get a cup of coffee after work, grab a beer. And it's, just that community really was engaging and encouraging. And one of the other things that we as an industry had the challenge with is the remote workers. And, we didn't want to be that firm that says you have to do anything. We want to create that environment, that culture where people are really engaged in their work, in their life. And we're constantly trying to keep that balance available for our team members. And so what we created, as you noted, with the building was an environment where they were excited about coming into the building, where they were excited about, being part of a team, and we didn't have to make them do anything. And it really worked out well when you think about the building. And one of the first things that we did was design the third floor to be that community center for the team, and it includes everything from our boardroom to our training room to a very open area with a golf simulator. So everybody's excited about using that. The deck that overlooks the town of Ada, nice covered deck there. It's pretty exciting. I was actually out there with a client the other day, and he was had this awe factor, and he was just very impressed by what he saw, what we generated there, and he really understood how that was encouraging to our team members and how people would love to be part of that community at EHTC and be the community in Ada. So we're super happy to be here.
Yeah, we are super thankful to have you here. Yes, it's been great. It's been fun to see too, like what Ada has brought in. We have so many different small businesses, from restaurants to retail to accounting to what am I forgetting? There's so many different things. So it's been great to have an accounting aspect into Ada. So we're super thankful to have you guys here.
Yeah, and we really appreciate your investment in the community as well. I know for a long time you've been doing your golf outing that benefits a local nonprofit, but you came in and you guys get involved right away. You get to know the environment and are really a front runner in supporting local. So we appreciate all that. Sometimes businesses will come in and just be very insular, and you don't really hear from them. And it was great that you guys just came in with smiles and excitement. And how can we get involved? And a bunch of individuals from your team volunteered out at Pumpkin Prowl last year. So we love that. So thank you very much for all that you do.
Yeah. So many listeners are business owners. So do you guys have any amazing, out of the home run advice for business owners, especially because most business owners here are small business. So they are doing everything from their own marketing to sweeping the floors at night. So what is one out of this ballpark type of advice that you could give a business owner?
Well, I'm not sure it's out of the ballpark type of advice, but
well, you never know.
But at the end of the day, I think about when I think about a business and running a business, there's components of that business, and I love to bike, and I always think about running a business like your wheel, the wheel that has to be in balance, and at times that wheel gets out of balance, and to be able to recognize what that balance is. And I think your CPA is your advisor that you can walk alongside. And there's people that just want their tax return done. But my advice is to to work with an advisor that you're willing to spend the time, effort, and money on making sure that's a great relationship and listening to the advisor, because there is that balance. As I mentioned, you've got your customers, your clients, you've got your product, your service, your team members, you've got culture, you've got profitability, you've got communication. All of these need to be in balance, and it can be all about your customer, but you're going to burn out your team members at some point in time if it's all about your customers. And likewise, you've got to have a product or a service that's delivering that provides a premium value. And if it's got a value, then you've got customers that are willing to pay for that value. And just understanding that simple business cycle, that balance, we can have great conversations and insight into those financial numbers with our clients. And I think the clients that we've got great relationships over the years are those that listen, that we sit down, we have these conversations, we can help impact their business, pull those correct levers to make a difference in their business. And like I said, then we've got clients for life, and I love it. And when you can have that same type of conversation with our young team members, that we encourage to be engaged with the clients right away so that they get to understand the goals and objectives of our clients, they can have an impact as well. And again, that's very encouraging for them in their career. Like I said, when I was young, that happened right away, and it's fun. It's enjoyable. So,
what is step one of that process? If somebody's listening and they want to jump into that, what is step one?
It's to have the conversation with EHTC.
Contact you guys.
Yes, to contact us. So.
Okay.
Excellent. All right, we're going to shift gears a little bit right now. We love asking, if you had a perfect day and perfect Saturday in Ada Village, how would you spend it?
Dave's making me answer this one because I live here. So.
There was a pointed finger. Yeah, we witnessed.
You want me to get real specific? It's funny when I saw the question come through, I was like, man, that's an interesting question, because I've got an 8-year-old and a 5-year-old, and I don't know what a free Saturday is. Usually we'll be down at Ada Park for a soccer game or a baseball game or something like that. But, a perfect Saturday, in my mind would maybe be, riding the bikes down the path, getting a coffee, maybe over at Foxtail, a donut at Sprinkles. We'll throw some free advertising in for our friends here in Ada. Hanging out by the river. I love being down, for beers on the bridge, and I always forget what the other one's called because I get the two confused.
The Music on the Lawn.
Yes, Music on the Lawn. It got confusing when we moved it away from the bridge, right? So I never knew which one was which or which one was going on.
Yeah.
But they're both awesome. I love the social district. Just hanging out. Pumpkin Prowl was a blast last year. We brought the kids down, and they thought it was the coolest thing ever. So. Really, like Dave was saying, it's really what drew us to Ada was having somewhere for our employees to, have a city but not have to be downtown, right? And it's really created that. It's a blast to see our team members grab each other for lunch and go, at our old location, they never did that, and there just was nothing nearby, right? Nothing walkable, nothing you could get to in a few seconds, and so it's been really fun to be down here. But yeah, it has so much to offer. It's just, I'm still learning things about it too. Being down here all the time now is fun. There's, like you said, there's so many businesses that you don't even know are here. So yeah.
I think it's kind of neat. I ride mountain bikes with a group of guys south of town, and they keep asking me, hey, when are we going to meet up in Ada? Grab a cup of coffee, ride some of the trails, and then head back for a beer. So it's got a draw, definitely, that even people that don't even come to Ada very often, they hear about it, they know about it, they've driven through it, but they want to experience it as well.
Well, get that bike crew together.
Definitely.
Get them to Ada.
Yes.
Well, thank you guys. This was wonderful. So if people want to stay connected to you, how do they do that?
Yeah, our website is EHTC.com. Feel free to, expanding a little bit just on kind of advice for business owners and trusted advisor. I think Dave put it great, but, I would always just, for anybody, and most people that, run their own small business are pretty smart people, and they probably haven't gotten there without the help of others. But kind of the mantra I've always had is just if there's something that you don't know, whether it be accounting or finance or marketing or anything, right? Talk to people. And even if you're not at a point yet where you can afford their services, or, most people that are good at what they do are going to give you a little bit of advice for free. And if they can't help you and they're not the right person, I think they'll be able to get you to someone that can help them. I mean, that's what I always try and do when people reach out to me, is, just networking and building your relationships. Because at the end of the day, business is all about relationships. And, I might not be the best person to help somebody or the right situation, but I know a lot of people who might be able to help them out. And, whether it's up market or down market, getting them in front of the right people so that they can succeed as well is really my goal at the end of the day. So, always, feel free to stop by. Our door's always open. If you're right here in Ada, come say hi and, check out the space if you want to. And, we can all be found on our website, on LinkedIn. Feel free to give us a phone call, or I've usually got branded wear on, so if you see me in town, just say hi and strike up a conversation. So
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for coming in today.
You bet.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
All right, Cam, should we jump in the Fast Five?
Let's do it. On June 25th, Music on the Lawn will be back with Yacht Rock. This is usually one of the most popular concerts. Come down early, get your seats. The concert will start at 7 p.m. You can walk over to the local restaurants to grab a social district drink, some takeout from one of those establishments, and enjoy a wonderful evening in Ada.
All right, number 2, July 12th is Cars and Coffee. We are super excited to have Cars and Coffee Grand Rapids back into Ada. It will be from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It is happening in the Ada Hotel parking lot. So if you guys want to register, definitely go to carsandcoffeegrandrapids.com. And then if you guys want to attend, we'll see you there.
On July 13th, Paddle Fest 2025, hosted by Gravel Bottom and benefiting the Lower Grand River Organization of Riversheds, will be happening. It starts at 9 a.m. Visit the Gravel Bottom Facebook page for more information and to register.
All right, and number 4, Summer Walking Group hosted by Ada Village Pharmacy. This is something that they just started, and it's such a great way to connect with different business owners or different community members. Join them walking downtown every Tuesday and Thursday from 7:30 a.m. and it's a 45-minute walk. They've got a whole route, so definitely jump in, have fun, and get some exercise in the morning.
Something new coming to Ada is the Vintage Art Market. They will be happening at Ada Township Park. They have an Instagram page, so check that out, and then we'll also be adding information on our social media and in our newsletters.
All right. If you want to keep up with what is happening in Ada, learn about the businesses, and participate in upcoming events, follow Discover Ada and the ABA on social media and subscribe to this podcast.
Thanks for listening. Now try to keep up.